What you doing?
Turning down the bed.
Turn down my own bed. My leg's not that bad.
No. I'm not leaving, Kirk. It's time. It's time for us to start sharing one bed, like any other husband and wife.
I thought we agreed to wait.
For how long? For what?
I don't know, Emily. I don't know. I just don't feel like I'm quite ready yet.
Kirk, I could understand before when you didn't want to make love to me. We were like strangers, but today you said you were beginning to love me.
Yes. I did say that.
That's all I ever wanted, was for you to love me. Kirk, when two people are in love, then they should be together like this. How can that be? Don't worry, I'll see you. Just get ready for bed, okay?
When Mrs. Scott heard that you weren't dead, she asked me to come back and look after you. I thought it was a very good idea.
Molly, I am fine. Just
well,
fine.
I don't know. I thought a little about that decision you made, and we really have to talk.
Molly, I am just going to do what I have to do, and that's all there is to
No,
it.
it isn't as simple as that.
Molly, look, we can't talk
yes,
right
we
now.
must. Nothing can be more important. Now, since we share the secret, we share a responsibility.
I
and
know
what
that.
I want to tell you may affect your whole future life, so just don't try and stop me. Just listen. Miss Emily, if you want to keep Kirk as your husband, you are going to have to leave Monticello.
And go where?
What doesn't matter? As long as it's far enough away to a place where nobody has ever seen or heard of that man.
You mean just go someplace else and start our lives over?
It's the only way.
I guess it makes sense.
Emily, what's going on? Molly. What are you doing here?
Hello, Kirk.
Is something wrong?
Oh, no. Molly just had a personal problem she wanted to talk over with me, that's all.
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I disturbing you?
No,
You,
don't be silly. Our home is your home.
Thank you.
Is there anything I can do?
No, it's just women talk. I'm sure you wouldn't be interested.
Oh, Emily and I can work it out.
Yeah, you just go on upstairs. I'll be up soon.
Okay. Good night, Molly.
Good night, Kirk.
I hope you work out the problem.
Yes. So do I.
Did you see the look on the hotel clerk's face when we told him we wanted separate rooms?
Did look a little pale when I told him they didn't have to be connecting, didn't he?
Yeah.
Thought he'd faint dead away when I told him they didn't have to be on the same floor.
You know, it gives you kind of an indication of the type of clientele this place attracts.
Oh, yeah. If we'd asked for a single room and registered as Mr. and Mrs. Smith, or something creative like Jones, he wouldn't have batted an eye.
True.
Tired? I don't blame you. It's been a long day. Not a very productive one either.
Why, you didn't like our conversation with the sheriff this evening?
I knew it was going to be like looking for a small needle in a large haystack, but I didn't think it would really be this rough, you know.
Yeah. You know, Logan, I keep thinking that even if we do find this person who switched the handcuffs, they're not going to confess it to us.
The person might not even be alive.
The question remains, is Draper alive?
Wish I knew how we were going to find out. Keep thinking about April. Sooner or later, she's going to learn that those bodies were misidentified. That it's going to leak out. Somebody's going to tell her. I'm going to have an explanation for her.
What did April say when you told her you didn't want her testimony in the custody trial?
I haven't told her yet. I'm saving that little bit of information for the last minute.
Why?
Because she's going to want me to change my mind, and I can't do that.
Well, I think you should have. I mean, I know that you're doing what you think is right, but it's such a sacrifice, Logan.
I didn't have any choice. Raven was right there. She was ready to march in and tell her all about it.
Yeah, but to exchange Raven's silence for April's testimony, it seems like you're undermining your entire case. You could lose.
I don't intend to lose.
Do you think you're still going to have a case?
Facts are still the facts. Raven abandoned our son. She gets custody, she'll do it again. I just have to convince Judge Lewis of that.
I think you're a cockeyed optimist, Logan Swift.
That's me.
And you're one heck of a nice guy, too.
Nice? Well, one of my least favorite words. I think I prefer noble.
Well, noble it is, then.
Foolish
Noble.
is a good word, too.
Oh,
And
no,
stupid
no.
has a certain ring.
I do admire what you did.
Drink your drink.
All right. Just put this in your mouth. No. Look, you can play this if you just put this in your mouth. Okay, Jamie, come on. You're being a royal pain in the neck. Will you just eat this, huh? Yeah? You can play this later, okay?
Maybe it's a tone of your voice. You sound like you're force-feeding a man-eating tiger.
Oh, shut up. If you can do any better, you come over here and do it yourself. Hey, Jamie, look.
Doesn't Jamie know it's past his bedtime?
He is not as fond of bedtime as you are, darling. Besides that, he still sleeps alone. Come on.
You're really going to have to get a sitter.
I don't have any money. But I love to get my hands on some cash.
Well, don't open your palms in my direction. The Elliott Dawn National Bank has stopped giving out loans right now.
Well, maybe I'll just have to change my lifestyle. I'll have to cut down on a few things. Although I must admit the thought of that gives me the hives.
Face it, darling, you'll never change.
I wonder if he's too young to put in a summer camp.
Even that costs a pretty penny.
What am I gonna do?
Well, as far as I can see, you got two alternatives. One is to buy a winning lottery ticket. The others are no good.
Yeah.
Secondly, you can wire Mama and tell her to increase your allowance.
All right. I've already bought a lottery ticket. It's in my purse, and it's wrapped around a four-leaf clover. All right. All right, I'm going to take you to bed just for a second, okay? Just for a second. Now, you come in here, and you go to sleep, okay? All right, be a good boy. And I've also written a letter to Mother, and I, in a very nice way, put the bite on her.
What did she say?
Well, I haven't gotten a reply yet, but I'm sure the answer is going to be no. She has a lot of money, but she does not like parting with it.
Is there mention of any financial things in that letter?
What letter?
Oh, the one lying by the phone, one with the English stamps on.
I forgot all about this. The first 3 letters I opened were bills, and I was so depressed I didn't even look at it. Besides that, all she ever does is yell at me in her letters and give me stupid advice.
Well, maybe this one will have something of interest.
Well, there's no check. She says the weather is lousy. I hear that every time. Wait a minute.
What, does she mention money?
No. But I think I can probably ask her for it in person because she is coming to Monticello.
Well, I'm looking forward to meet Mr. and Mrs. Ansel Scott.
Well, don't hold your breath because she's coming by herself.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, it seems that he's held up with some litigation at the Old Bailey.
When did she say she's coming?
She doesn't say exactly, but she says approximately a fortnight.
And what is the purpose of this visit?
She's sick. She's been very ill the past few months, and she can't seem to find a doctor out there. So she wants to come back here and meet with a doctor friend of ours who she trusts.
Oh, well, you can have another house guest.
Are you kidding? Not on your life. Mother will rent one of the most elegant suites in Monticello, and that's just fine with me because the Palace of Versailles would be too small for the two of us. Say nothing of this dump.
She'll want to see the baby. The heir to her millions.
That's true. I have 2 weeks to get ready, and I have so much to do.
Such as what?
Well, first I'm going to have to go paint the nursery. Or maybe I can put up some wallpaper with that stupid Mother Goose stuff on it. And then I'm going to have to buy some furniture other than the crib. And I'll have to go to the toy store and get a bunch of stuffed animals and, of course, some educational games.
Jamie's not going to know what hit him. Be careful, he might think you love him.
Look, seeing is believing. And Mother is soon going to see what a wonderful mother I am. Hello? Oh, sure, just a minute. It's for you. It's the unicorn. I think it's Charlie.
This had better be good, Charlie. I told you not to contact me here except in emergencies.
This is an emergency, boss.
Well, don't tell me the house is on fire.
No, it's nothing like that. We got a sort of a riot going on here.
Oh, I knew I should have hired a bouncer.
No, the place is packed with a bunch of nice-looking kids, but they're all standing around demanding to see Kelly's puppets.
What has McGrath been doing, plugging his dolls outside the door again?
Well, it seems that some DJ on one of the rock and roll stations gave us a plug. And he said if the kids showed up, they'd be in store for a terrific free puppet show.
Well, what are you waiting for, Charlie? Give the people what they want. Get McGrath out from behind that light board and put him on center stage.
No can do, boss. Kelly's not here. He's just night off.
That's the way you do that move, Sharon. You have to glide across the stage. We may make a dancer out of you yet. Now, wait a minute, Jody. The idea is to do the whole routine. Now, I know the combination's difficult for you, but you're never going to get it if you keep leaving parts of it out.
Okay. It won't happen again.
Okay. Nice, actually. Nice. Very nice. What can I do for you?
Well, how are you, Gavin?
You know me?
Well, sure. We met the other night at the Unicorn Disco. Yeah, I work there with Jody. My name's Kelly McGrath.
Right. It all comes back to me now. Legs I remember, but I'm no good with names and faces.
Hey, this is really a neat place.
It's your basic dance studio. I'm glad it meets with your approval.
Well, Jody tells me she spends a lot of her free time here. Since I've never seen her dance, I thought I'd come down and check out her act.
Well, all we do here is exercises and work out. There's no floor show.
Well, I didn't mean to get in the way of anything.
You want to watch? Watch. But just stand there and don't stick your foot out to trip anybody.
Oh, sure, I'll stay out of your way.
Kelly, hi. What are you doing here?
Well, I just happened to be in the neighborhood, so I thought I'd stop by and say hello.
So did Gavin sign you up for any lessons yet?
Mr. McGrath is here strictly as a spectator. You're the attraction.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, I've never been in a dance studio before. I've never had any reason to be, so it gave me a good excuse. Besides, I wanted to see you dance, and you're very good.
Well, thank you.
I hope you don't mind my being here. I don't want to make you feel self-conscious.
No, don't worry. I love to have an audience, really.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, Kelly, but the show's over for tonight. You've had enough for tonight, Jody. Okay, that was nice. That's it for tonight, okay?
Well, I have to say, for once, my muscles agree with you. So if you'll excuse me, since Gavin is letting me out of the coal mines, I'd like to freshen up. I'll see you later.
Sure. Jody tells me that you can be very demanding.
I want my students to be dancers, not hoofers.
Well, do you like teaching?
I'm good at it. Most of these women moved like elephants before they came to me.
Do you ever dance professionally? I mean, like on Broadway?
Yeah, I danced near Broadway. But did a couple of reviews.
Well, how come you didn't stick with it?
Well, the fame and fortune part was great, but I couldn't hack being interviewed all the time.
Oh. Jody and I have a lot in common, you know.
It's good to hear that.
Yeah, we're both waiting for a big break.
Everybody's in showbiz. And what do you do, Mr. McGrath?
Well, I'm a puppeteer. And pretty good at it, too.
Well, as long as you enjoy it.
Yeah, well, you know, I was just watching your dancers, and it was giving me an idea for a routine. I'm thinking about designing this jazz ballet for my puppets.
You think you can handle the choreography?
Well, yeah, that would be the really challenging part. I mean, how do you create a dance with puppets that don't have any legs?
You like Jody, don't you?
Well, what brought that up?
It's pretty obvious.
Well, sure I like Jody. Don't you?
I try not to like my students too much. Business and pleasure don't mix.
Yeah, but still, it can't always be that simple. Not when you have a student like Jody.
Night, Dad.
Good night.
Good night. Molly, it's such a drastic step. Kirk and I are just getting settled here. How am I going to pull this complete turnaround without looking suspicious?
You'll just have to come up with some kind of explanation.
But what is Dr. Kavanaugh going to think about my leaving the job even before I've started?
You can't worry about that. Just tell him anything you like. Or maybe that you've decided to stay at home and you don't want to be a working wife. I mean, it is ridiculous for you to work in that office. He's Kirk's brother-in-law.
You're right. All I'd need is Kirk to stop by one day to surprise me at the office.
Those are the risks you take every day you stay in Monticello.
How am I going to break this to Kirk? How am I going to tell him about this house? I almost begged him to buy it for us.
Living in this house is like living in a time bomb. You do understand that.
But we're so isolated here. And he's awfully happy, Molly.
But Kirk was happy here once before. This is the very house he lived in as April Scott's husband.
That's right. That is the reason he likes it, even though he doesn't understand it.
And every second that he stays in these surroundings could trigger his memory and bring back all the past, his real past. Emily, if you truly want a life with this man, you have got to leave this house, leave this town, and get as far away from his friends and his places that he's familiar with as quickly as you possibly can.
You're right. It is the only solution.
Yes.
Sleep well, darling. Everything's gonna be all right. I have just as much right.
Next time you get to Evansville, stop in and dine with us again.
Thank you, Will. The food was good. Thanks for your cooperation as well.
Oh, I'm sorry I couldn't have been of more help.
What to give you my card. If you remember anything at all else about the night of the wreck, why don't you give me a call?
Of course I will.
Appreciate
Just
it.
take a look at this picture again and see if you've ever seen this man before.
I've never seen that man in the flesh. The night of the train crash or any other night.
Talking about the Grand Falls Express wreck?
Yeah, we are.
Terrible thing to happen, just terrible.
You didn't happen to go down to the side of the wreck that night, did you, by any chance?
Me? No, that would have been a little too gruesome for my taste. But I could see the flames from my bedroom window. I stayed up half the night, watching the sky all lit up and listening to the news flashes on the radio.
Did you see a stranger wandering around by any chance?
As a matter of fact, I did. But at first, I thought it must have been one of the boys who stayed at closing time at the Peppermill Bar. The way he was walking, he could hardly stand up. But he looked a little too shabby. I guess he was some tramp.
Could you look at this and see maybe this is the man?
It was dark, and he was kind of far away. But it could have been him, I suppose.
Which way was he heading?
North of my place. If he managed to keep himself on course, he would have wound up at old Dr. Galt's place.
Dr. Galt, huh? Thank you very much.
Next step.